When people ask me, what are you doing in Japan? I said, I was telling the ladies, like, I'm here to see you. That's all it is. Like, I'm here to see a different side of the world. I want to see how these girls live. I want to see what they love. They got hip hop clubs all over and stuff. There's certain times I'm in the club, I already have my situation handled, but I'm with other guys. I'm putting big, tall, 6'4" black guys' hands in other girls' hands, like just making relationships happen. Japan is sick like that.
To give you a piece of my mind.
Far from Normal Bros, and we back at it again. First of all, I'm gonna need you to tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a mother effing friend to follow and subscribe to your boys. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other podcast platforms as well. You can catch us on YouTube and TikTok. That's Far From Normal Podcast. Make sure you type that into a search engine and see the boys on those clips. We got everything for you. We got the website, www.farfromnormalpodcast.com. We got all the links up there. Make sure you check it out. Of course, YouTube. We're on Instagram as well. That's far_from_normal_podcast. Check it out. You already know. It's your boy Fuzzy Vision. You know I see the world clear. And you know I see the future. And the future is bright. You already know. Fuzzy Vision with 2 N's. If you have any likes, dislikes, rebuttals, or you want to be on the podcast, hit your boy up. Sonny, drop the handle, baby.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Sonny Frames. You can catch me on the gram at Sonny, SONNY, Frames, double S at the end. Make sure when you do check out my Instagram page, check out my stories, because I usually post a lot of stuff that has to do with motivation, inspiration, chasing your dream, and execution. So let's not forget, any dream that you're trying to achieve, the only way that you'll ever achieve it is through execution and putting a plan to motion. So make sure that you don't just stay in the dream world, and make sure you make it a reality.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
And Fuzzy, let's get him. How the heck did the weekend go for you guys? Because I'll tell you one thing. My weekend was crazy, especially yesterday. Man.
I had a crazy weekend. I won't even lie to you. Yeah, you were pretty much a part of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of parties going on, a lot of celebration. It's coming to the end of the year, so a lot of people are getting together. So we had a lot of, birthday
Three events that we had to go to.
Christmas party, birthday party. We had another, Christmas get together.
Yep.
That was everything.
Our boy came back from Atlanta.
From ATL.
So he's actually from Toronto. He moved to Atlanta in May. We visited him in the summertime. Then he came back to visit his family because Christmas is coming. So he was here. We hosted him. We went out with him. So that was a long night. We were outside.
It was a lit night, though.
It was lit,
say that
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
In a couple spots, we had to stop in a couple spots in the city.
100%.
Turn shit up.
But what about you guys? What you been up to?
L5S1, that's what I'm saying. Herniated disc. That's what I'm coming back from. My shit is fucked up, but
Yeah?
I just realized everybody has that back pain. Everybody's fucked up these days, man.
You going to
you going to the
chiropractors
doctor,
or anything?
man?
Well,
what's going on?
everything, physio, massage.
Really? How much times a week?
Probably at least twice a week.
Oh,
Go
wow.
get butt naked massages now.
Wow.
Damn. Right?
It's that bad, huh?
My shit I was crippled, son. I was
Wow.
But you got it diagnosed, or you're just
crippled. Oh, for sure. X-rays.
what's happening, brother?
X-rays. You had to pull the scam, go to the hospital, me and my sister.
So what they say?
What's
What,
the
X-ray.
results, brother?
Herniated disc.
real talk.
L5S1. L5S1.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how you know your back really hurt. You know exactly where it's
Herniated
fucked
disc.
up.
oh,
That's
wow.
crazy.
Do you know where they come from? Like, how did you end up getting it like that? That bad?
Life, bro.
It's life, huh?
Just traveling around doing my thing. My back just getting worse and worse, but I'm back up now.
Damn. Okay.
So what? You been rehabbing? Like what have you been doing recently?
Trying to get right, trying to get the waist back going. You know how it goes, man.
Jeez.
You know how it goes.
Dre, how about yourself, man? What you been up to this weekend?
Oh man, just relaxing. Let's just say relaxing. Just
Taking it easy.
Taking it easy, huh?
Family affairs, things of that nature.
All right. Today's podcast, we got our boy, of course. We had to drop my close friend. We had to bring him on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
talk his little shit, you know, have a little conversation because, you know, we haven't linked up in a while. Like, you know, since you coming back too, actually, since you coming back from Japan, you just actually went out of the country,
konnichiwa.
Konbanwa.
Oh,
Konbanwa.
Talking shit, man. So what was that about? Why'd you travel to Japan, man?
Yeah.
What was that all about?
I'm interested to hear that.
That's pretty crazy. Reason why I say that's crazy is because I known you for years, but you know, you never traveled like so far. Like, so I'm like, oh, where'd this idea come from to travel? Tell me how long the flight was, because I know that's no 6 hour, 5 hour flight.
Or the layover direct? What are we talking about?
We going straight to Japan, bro. No layovers. None of that. We
Okay,
going straight
sir.
to Japan. 13 hours.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
laid up, doing my thing. Japan, you have to go. You have to go. You have to see what the world has for you. And it just so happens that they love black people over there. I like to go where the love is. I had to go to Japan all my life since I was a kid, watching animes, cartoons, all that.
Amen to that. Anime.
What?
Anime.
People don't know. People that never grew up on anime don't really get it. But I've seen like older people even get into anime just because they had like a friend circle that was into anime. So they got into it. They'll put them on like some serious anime to get them in there quickly, right? Instead of doing a slow pace anime, they'll give them like something quick, like Attack on Titans or something that really gets the juices flowing, you know, like Death Note. They'll give them like something like bang, 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 you know? But that's crazy that you went out there. And how did you know that they embrace black people? Who told you this?
They had Soka in Japan. Soka.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Japan. I was like, that has to be full of black people. Has to be good vibes. Have to go out there. Girls are traveling from all places of the world coming over there. I said, I have to go. And that was amazing. Even people from Japan are telling me they didn't know that was going on. All kind of black people see a black people in Japan.
That's crazy. But again, why did you pick Japan? Just for that? Was it for other reasons? Like, why would you choose to go to Japan? Because there's other spots, obviously. Like, for example, my bro was in China, and you know, he felt embraced there too. He didn't feel like it was a situation where he wasn't embraced. You know, he did his thing. He was there for a couple of years, and I went out there too, and I felt like, you know, I felt the love there. You're gonna have your misunderstandings, definitely, with the cultural difference, but for you going to Japan, that's just a different trip, bro. You're gonna have to explain that to a lot of people. So when people asked you, like, what would you say? You just want to explore?
When people ask me, what are you doing in Japan? I said, I was telling the ladies, like, yeah, I'm here to see you. That's all it is. Like, I'm here to see a different side of the world. I want to see how these girls live. I want to see what they love. They got hip hop clubs all over this stuff. There's certain times I'm in the club, I already have my situation handled, but I'm with other guys. I'm putting big, tall, 6'4" black guys' hands in other girls' hands, like, just making relationships happen. Japan is sick like that.
Love doctor. God damn, man.
So how did they? I'm actually interested in knowing, like, when you go to these hip hop scenes and when you like, especially the Japanese ones, that's like predominantly Japanese in these clubs. Like, how do they move? Because in China they move a bit different than like how Westerners move in clubs. So I'm interested to know, like, what exactly are they doing in those clubs? Like, I seen some videos you posted on the stories. They look dope. But, like, from your experience, you being in there, what did you notice? Like, are people trying to talk to these women? Or is it like, oh, they don't want guys to talk to them if they don't have a booth like here in the Western society? Like, how does that work? How does that whole thing in the club work, that scene?
You gotta be exotic. I go where I'm exotic. If I look like every other nigga, then I probably don't want a vacation there. I'm trying to go somewhere where they ain't seeing me except on their phone.
Okay.
When they see me, they just they look at me, and then I'm just vibing by myself. Next thing you know, they're coming up to you. Whatever piece of English they got, whatever piece of Japanese I got.
They're coming.
That's what they're getting.
That's how you do
Straight
it.
to the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Straight to the phone.
I can relate to that because, honestly, that's why I like to go to the strange spots around the world, because when you're one of one, you get a bigger advantage rather than being one of many, right? They start to look past you when you're one of many.
100%.
So you always want to be in a situation where you're almost you're that unicorn, right? You want to be that unicorn. So
It's the best thing.
100%. You have a better time and bigger bang for your buck.
What's the next trip, man? What's the next trip? Because you've been to a lot of places. Like you've been to Central America, like North America. You've been to a bunch of places in the States. I know you like to do your thing travel wise. What's the next trip? Like, how are you
Straight
gonna
to the
top
homeland.
Japan?
Straight to the homeland. Straight to Africa to get the love.
Have you been there yet or no?
I never been.
This guy done
I
been all
never
around the
been.
world except
yeah.
for his own home.
Yeah, but that would have to do
what's
different.
happening?
That's crazy.
Nah, what's happening, man?
That's a different
What's
experience.
taking you so long, though? What's taking you so long,
Because I have to
brother?
go there as a king. I have to go there in my mind right.
I said,
I
what's
can't
taking
go
you
there
long,
slipping.
brother? That's what I asked.
What's taking me long? I have to do it right. Like I want to be able to
What's
spend
that
money. I
mean,
want
doing it right,
Yeah.
buddy. How old do you need to be to do it right? in
go out.
Africa? I don't
You
get
need
it.
to be able to have that money to go out to not worry about things.
Nah,
you need
that's
to
crazy.
have places
That's
to
crazy
go.
because I've been there. I've already been there more than once. So that's
And you
crazy.
gotta touch the soil. Nothing's guaranteed, bro. What you're breathing right now, the air you're breathing, that shit ain't guaranteed. You gotta touch that home soil. You get what I mean?
Life is
lay
short.
your roots. Lay your roots down from where you're from, or at least let people come see you. Because that too, you have to realize if you have family out there, they never seen you in the flesh.
Yeah.
You hear me? So
That's why
like
I have to
you have to
return a king.
realize you have to realize that when you're traveling, to other places. Obviously, I know what it is. I've been to other places as well, but you definitely gotta touch the home soil. But I already know you're on that trajectory. So we're gonna make that happen soon, bro. I probably roll with you.
I feel like it's different when you go out there as a kid. Like you go out there and you build that kind of relationship. When you go out there as a man, you
100%.
want to go out there as a lion. You don't want no slipping. You want people to look at you like, that's what's going on over there. This guy has it handled. This guy's son is doing his thing. Comes over here, you could do your thing. You go see family, throw a little money here, get that love that you're supposed to get.
I think you're putting too much pressure on yourself to go out there. I know you want to go out there and save people. You want to be a savior.
I want to save myself. Yeah.
No,
that's true.
it looks like you're coming out there
Yeah,
and save
save, man.
people. Like,
Sure.
You're coming there.
Jesus
You want to be Jesus of Nazareth over there, the black Jesus of Nazareth.
Yeah.
You want to go out there and break bread for people and be that hero and be everyone worshiping you. And hey, this guy
that
comes
guy.
from overseas.
He's
that guy. That's it. He's him.
I think that's what we all want to do. We all want to
Stamp
come
it.
there and walk in like a king. Obviously,
Of
we all
course.
want the respect. You want that respect, but at the end of the day, you have to earn that respect. Right?
100%.
This is not something. Even if you do have money, and you just walk in. At the end of the day, if you don't know the culture, if you're not submersed in what's going on, people are gonna take advantage of you. Even though
100%, buddy.
you're rich wherever you're at, or you have money, you have wealth, people are gonna take advantage of you. Like they're gonna respect you to a certain extent for what you can do for them, but at the end of the day, they can still play on you or prey on you. I would say so. I would say don't put that much pressure in terms of like how you're trying to give it
100%.
up when you get out there, because at the end of the day, we've been to Africa. We already know where the hands start coming. And,
Oh, man,
and
it's too
everyone,
many hands.
and especially the
It's
bigger,
too many hands.
especially the bigger you are.
Yeah.
Especially the bigger you are, because people are looking at you as, again, you said you want to go there as a king. Yeah, they're going to treat you like a king, but you have to treat them like a king would treat his people. You got to give back. So if you're going with that mentality, then you can't be upset when people come to you and want this
Every day.
handout and want that.
You're
handout.
looking at every
You're going to
day
have to deal with the consequences.
people on the
of that.
street. I mean, there's a
Look,
lot.
look at, you know how it is. You
Oh
know
yeah,
how it
there's
is,
a lot.
bro.
There's a lot of poverty going on
More
in certain
flashy,
parts. The
the
more
more they
flashy you
want.
are, the more they're gonna ask from you. The more they're gonna demand, and you're either gonna have to be like, you know what, I can't do it. Like in terms of there's gonna be points when you're in Africa, wherever you go, you're gonna look at it like you're in Toronto when you see a homeless person. You're just gonna walk by because you're like, I can't save everybody. You know what I mean? Because it's like you having a ship and you're seeing people that are overboard, like because their ship hit something and now they're trying to swim to shore, but there's no shore, and it's like you're trying to pick up everybody you see. Like eventually, it's like, buddy, I can't pick everybody up. My ship can only hold so many people. So it's like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to drown over there.
That's
Like,
crazy.
you can't wait on me. I'm just saying you can't wait on me. I'm not your brother's keeper. I'm here. I can help who I can help, and that's about it. I'm not gonna overextend my hand
Facts.
where my ship is now sinking because I overextended my hand. I'm just gonna do what I can do.
I'm
And
good at
that's
that.
it.
I'm gonna die. You ain't getting nothing for that. I'm talking about partying, eating food, and going out, man. That shit expensive.
Yeah,
That shit
that's
expensive. You have to get
expensive.
right. You can't go out there like
100%.
I can't go out on Wednesday. I'm going out on Tuesday,
Yeah.
Thursday, Sundays, all the off days.
Yeah, but the
I'm
dogs are
going
gonna
out-
be out too. The dogs are gonna be
Yeah.
out. They're gonna
dogs
be
will be out.
they're gonna be looking for meals too. You know
That's
what I
it.
mean?
Fact. That's a fact.
So you got to be weary of that as well. So you could go out there flashy and fancy, but understand there's gonna be people lurking in the shadows. You know, they have their bikes. They'll come in and they'll do what they got to do to survive. You know, get what they need to get. So you got to be mindful of that, and then you got to be mindful of how many people you're rolling with. Because for me, when I was out there, I had a lot of cousins I was rolling with. So that type of business couldn't really happen because I just had a big circle around me.
Were you able to have firearms? Because I'm the type of person
No.
that you didn't go.
Well, our
with
pops had firearms. I don't know when you went the second time.
There's
If
no
we
way I'm
had,
going
we had it in the
anywhere
crib.
in these parts of the world without firearms. You guys gotta.
No, we had.
I'm not
we-
gonna
we had
use
one
my
at our spot.
protection to somebody else. This is my life as a man. If I'm going to Africa, if I'm going to any different part, you know me. I mean, well,
But
it
you
might
have to
be crazy.
realize, at least in those type of countries, because of obviously war, civil war, and all that shit going on, they have checkpoints.
They do.
Military checkpoints or that type of thing. So if you do have firearms on you, like it's illegal to be, moving around with like firearms.
Yeah.
Like that, you get what I
Okay.
mean? So
Okay.
there's still the laws that, the British laws, that's in these countries
Oh.
and these colonial countries. So you still have to move like you're moving in the Western world to a certain extent. You can own firearms, and the investigation obviously won't be near as, deep and let's just say against you, because obviously you're going to be at least in Africa. You won't be in North America where you're just getting the guillotine to your neck. But again, when you're out there, you can move with caution, but at the end of the day, you can get a bodyguard that's strapped, that has something on him. If you don't trust in that, well then I don't know.
I trust in
can't-
myself. It's good to have. It's
No,
good to
I
have
hear you on
bodyguards
that,
and all
Josh.
these
But
things.
are you a person that like frequents the gun range? Like you have all that extensive gun range like knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have that, then
resist government
you can
tyranny.
take-
They say
you
that
can-
all the time.
Okay, that's lit. That's good then. That means you're prepared for the
anything.
worst case scenario.
That's if
for
I'm going to
yourself.
Africa, right? And I would likely only be going there if I'm ready to engage in my whoredom. If I'm trying to go to
God.
different,
Wildly Africa.
yeah, not passport bros though, because I'm not exactly for that kind of behavior. But if the shoe fits to some degree, then maybe. But
Why only Africa?
Well, yeah. Why Africa?
Why not Japan? Why not
because
Romania?
I don't sleep with other, I stay black. For now, I stay black. My thing is
There's
to.
black girls in
Has
Japan.
it always been like that? Like
yeah,
you've never
yeah.
wanted to dabble into other ethnicities?
I don't. Not for me. I don't have that urge. Is it an urge? You guys do this. Like, is it an urge? What's the feeling?
Curiosity.
Well,
Curiosity.
So how does it feel?
I don't know. I think it's just I don't think it's necessarily an urge or not. I think it's just
I-
dependent on your environment. If you're in an environment that shares other races, naturally you start getting attracted to other races, unless you start seeing flaws in those other.
That's how it's been for me.
races. So
Yeah.
if you don't see any flaws, if you judge humans as humans and you don't judge them off their color, then
No, I judge by color.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but there's black women everywhere. There's black women
everywhere to
literally
this point.
everywhere.
You don't need
Yeah.
to be
No,
Speaking
but
to you
I'm just-
Turkish if you want, Brazilian,
No, but
Spanish.
If I go to
They're
these
there in the
countries-
trenches
yeah.
of Filipino.
Facts, he's getting you now.
Yeah. also-
Everywhere.
Listen, if you're black,
Japan.
if you're a black Japanese, that's not no problem. I think the question you guys were asking me if it's like outside of the race of black, if I'm being with someone from the outside of the race of blackness, and I said no, I haven't.
Okay,
And
so
I
how
ha-
do you define how black has to be? Like
Yeah.
You
for a
have to
person
be
for
black.
you-
But what does
does
that mean? How
What
deep does
mean?
it go?
How about
Like
she-
3:30
Man.
seconds or
Yeah,
what?
like,
Say what?
No,
how black is black? Like how black is black?
what we're saying is, what do you consider black? Do you
A
consider
black
black?
human. My bad.
Okay, just what do you consider black in terms of has black parents, was born in Africa, was born in maybe a place of
Race. You are
so
black.
your race. So
Yeah.
anyone in your family that has that race, or just like what are you talking about?
I'm
'Cause if
mixed,
you're
talking
Light
about-
skin.
mixed,
So, yeah,
that's,
white.
that's what we're
If
talking
they have
about.
black in their family, does that make them black?
How you feel about the Nova Scotia girls? Off white.
Yeah.
Off-white.
Newfies. The Newfies. Exactly.
Off-white girl from Nova Scotia. How do you
What
get
I'm trying to say
straight
is
from
I
Halifax?
appreciate Africana women. When I say Africana, I mean Caribbean, I mean American, I mean Canadian black to some degree. I mean,
Oh, God.
you know, like, if you're black, you see, look at my skin color. If you're this,
I know what that is.
if you're race, if
that
you're,
looks
if
brown
you're-
to me, dark brown.
that's crazy. If you're
Chocolate,
if you are
brother, that's it.
if you're an African, you see what I'm saying? If you have African in your blood,
How much?
He's talking Sudanese
50% or
black.
more.
That's what he's talking
Nah,
about.
that's
Okay,
much.
Sudanese.
Okay,
I'm not talking about
50% or more.
pigmentation.
Does she need
I'm
to
not
look
talking
like
about
Naomi
pigmentation.
Campbell?
I'm not talking about pigmentation. I'm talking about race
Yes,
people.
race people.
So if you have 50% or more, I'll venture into you.
So now, what if like scenarios of, say you met a woman, say a black woman, but say she was in an adoptive family. So say like
As long
culturally,
as the culture doesn't matter to me.
so
What
the
I'm
culture
trying to-
doesn't matter.
because essentially my plan, that's what I was talking about with Africa.
Yeah.
I was just talking to, I think it was my brother and I, and we were talking to this woman that she's from Rwanda. And I don't know if you guys, can I get a little explicit? I don't know if you guys know,
Get
like the women
explicit,
from,
brother.
Go ahead.
Do what we do.
the fucking asses are crazy. Just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Rwanda.
So I'm saying to myself,
I thought that was everywhere in Africa. I didn't know there's a
but
specific
hold on,
spot.
there's specific.
That's that memory
there's
trigger.
Listen,
Yeah.
there's specific.
that.
There's specific curvature. There's specific curvature. Ugandan women, they're man.
Oh, they're
Listen,
packing heat.
They're
I know
packing
that.
they're
heat.
packing
They're packing
different
heat.
sort of. It's
Different
different
type.
weaponry, man. This is different weaponry. So I say to myself, if I'm going to Africa, I'm hitting all these places. I got Rwanda for sure. I got Uganda. Kenya. I want to
All
try
in
these
the
women.
East.
But not only do I
I
want-
see what
not
I said.
only
You
do I
have to
want
go
to
as a king.
say what?
You have to go as a king. You want to do all these things. You can't go sloppy, man.
No,
You have
that's
to go right.
that's taken care of. Oh, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Like when it's time, that's my trajectory. I'm going there to breed women. I wouldn't be going there to necessarily see.
Jesus Christ.
So you're leaving all the light-skinned Kenyan girls alone.
Listen, if you're black and you have the pigmentation don't matter. You can be lighter. I prefer darker kind of chocolate kind of women anyway. Like
Okay.
I like black. How do I say this? I like black women.
Yeah, you like
right.
black.
So
Every
the culture
shades,
the
every
culture
shades,
doesn't
yeah.
really matter to me.
Yeah,
The culture
okay.
doesn't matter to me. The goal is to use them as vessels and incubators for my offspring.
Okay.
That is my goal, right?
Okay.
Very analytical. Very analytical.
Listen,
Someone listening, what's he talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly.
What I'm basically saying is I don't trust other races to carry my gene. That's basically what I'm saying.
I think that's something that people would criticize, but it's important. It's important to understand like what you're saying. So I want you to explain that and what your reasoning, why you wouldn't want to
A lot of black-
share your genes with a other race.
because they won't know what to do with it. They don't know how to respect the potency and the power that has been given to Africana people. So because of where I'm coming from and how I'm raised, I know to respect my power, respect the roots, respect what I am and who I am. And the only way to do that well is to make sure that my offspring look like where I'm coming from, right? From the soil. Now, to those individuals that have like interracial and things of that nature, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying this is how I've been raised. You see what I'm saying? Like that's my
Yeah,
trajectory.
yeah,
no,
personal
of
opinion.
course.
Yep.
So, and it's a lot easier. It's not. Maybe I should say.
No, I get that aspect of it,
right.
yeah.
The integration isn't difficult. The things I'm hearing about how some women from different races are trying to trap black people, especially black men, because they look at us as fetishes. I'm not trying to I'm not trying
part
to
of
find that out.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not trying to because I'm very vitriolic when it comes to things like that. I'm pretty retributional, so I don't want to be the type person to
Very cautious,
right.
but it's very
right?
good. Again, we were saying
She'll
that
go
earlier.
listen. Like you know what I'm saying.
About
Like if
caution,
you're
yeah.
if you're
Better
being
being
disrespectful
cautious.
to my kind, I'm not gonna be jolly with it.
Yeah.
Whereas the blackness is already in these black women. So even though they may misbehave by culture, because oftentimes it's a cultural difference that's allowing for their behaviors to
Yes.
go wayward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if they behave themselves and they fit the agenda that I have in play for them, then and I just need them to have the children. I'll take the children with me back to America. So, but yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, man. No,
Yeah.
I understand that 100%, but I think that your point of view is very different than, I'd say different from, the point of view of, say, me or my brother. Or, I don't know if you feel the same way. What do you think about that?
I don't know. If we're talking breeding, that's one thing. If we're talking fun, that's a whole.
So
nother
we're talking.
thing.
If we're
That's-
talking.
I like
So
to
okay.
have
So are we
different type
talking
of fun.
breeding? Is this conversation breeding? Because if we're talking breeding, that's me. You guys agree with that? With
Yeah, but
breeding?
you haven't touched them either way, for fun or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Not
so
here,
that's-
not
so
there, not on
shouldn't
a
you
train,
guys-
not in
So
the
if we
race.
take
Should
it
you guys?
outside of that.
Yeah,
Shouldn't you
exactly.
guys? Shouldn't you guys show me what am I missing out?
You have
for
not
fun?
touched a
You guys
white
have been
girl
doing the
here
fun.
or there.
We're just
You guys have
saying-
been doing the fun,
No,
so
no,
how's-
what we're saying
what am I
is-
missing out?
No, what we're saying is because we're from a diverse culture and it's multicultural within Toronto, we've been exposed to different cultures, so now we're more acceptant to dip and dabble with other cultures because of curiosity. Whether there's something there or nothing there, we're still going to take the opportunity to see for ourselves.
Have you guys taken the opportunity to see for yourself?
Yeah.
So how was it?
So-
Entice me into the circumstance so I can
it's not
change my view.
necessarily just the sex. It's also about the culture that they come from. So
Okay.
what they can provide for you. So from different cultures, you learn different things.
Absolutely.
And certain women provide different things as well. So there's different characteristic traits that certain women carry where other women don't carry. So when you look at that, you can compare and contrast from, let's say, a black woman. You could compare and contrast, and you're like, I like this aspect of a black woman, but I like this aspect of a Caucasian woman
what
or an
aspect-
Asian woman or a Hispanic woman.
Now, that's what I want to know. What are these aspects of things that you guys like from other people outside of the black race?
Okay, so I'll speak for me when it
Talk
comes
to
to
me.
Asian women. I like how they're helpful and they're supportive, and they're mindful of like you as an individual. So they're trying to understand how you move, and they're trying to adapt to what you're doing, right? They're trying to fit in your square, and they're trying to see like, okay, what can I do to help him go further down his path? And they're also submissive. Like, they're not gonna overtalk you. They're not gonna be contentious when you're having conversation. They're not gonna be arguing with you. As a matter of fact, they're gonna try and avoid argument because they're like, if he's mad already, I'm just gonna fall back. But when it comes to other women, black women, because I deal with black women, I'm a black man, so of course I have family members that, you know, I can see the characteristic traits from like my sister or other black women, and how argumentative they are, how contentious they can be, like different aspects when they're always in fight mode and somebody's out to get them and stuff like that. And for me, that's a turn off. I would rather have a woman that's less combative, you know, more reasonable, able to speak to, like able to talk to, have conversation, able to listen, able to mold, different aspects like that. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to But yeah.
See, for that whole, you know, topic, and especially when it comes from the perspective of like different races, I think culturally is what makes the biggest difference.
Yes.
It's going to be the cultural, the environment they're in, the environment they've been raised around, what they've been accustomed to, what they're accepting of and what they're not accepting of, what they tolerate, what they don't tolerate. So I think it just depends on as much as you said the race, it makes sense the way you're describing it, because you're talking in terms of procreation.
Yeah.
So if you're like, that's where you were like, where you were
that's what
taking it,
he's
you're talking about like
yeah.
procreating, that, you know, the culture doesn't matter in that sense, because at the end of the day, she's black at the end of the day, so my kids
The
will
culture
be-
matters. The culture matters, but
It
from the
matters,
realm.
but not in the case of breeding. You were saying
No, what I'm saying is, what I was trying to describe is that when I disregarded the culture at that moment, I was just trying to say that I need the blackness. So whether that was a black woman who happened to be from St. Kitts or a black woman who happened to be from Uganda, I just need her black first. The culture comes from the man. The man instills the culture, meaning that
so. Yeah, you don't mind what her culture is, as
I
long as you
usually
can
do
mold
mind.
it.
I'm not even molded in it. I'm eradicating it. That's my goal.
Well,
When
yeah, you're
No, but
enforcing your
they
own-
can do pushbacks, right?
You're not-
Remember, we
you're
still
not gonna
got
have
the
a good
law.
time, but,
We still got
Well,
the
we
law.
got the law
We
that's
got
on
the
top of the
law?
Wait,
The
Here's
law
my
is the
question.
law.
Here's my
No,
question.
They can force it,
What is
bro.
the law?
Wait,
Yeah,
that
they
dictates
can-
a lot.
they-
That
they- it
dictates
does
a lot
dictate a
because
lot.
you're saying that you're going to be able to mold your child, but if they decide to get the law in place, you can't mold them how you want to mold them,
Yes, you
because
can.
now you have a third party intervention.
The government,
That's
yeah,
they're
gonna
gonna be
eradicate.
they're
They're
gonna
the
be
third
intruding.
parent.
Yeah, they're the third parent. They're gonna be intruding on your education that you're trying to provide for your
You
child.
fight against that.
Again,
fight
you can
against
always
that.
combat it, but at the end of
Yeah.
the day,
It's an uphill battle.
It's a
It's an
battle.
uphill. It's an uphill battle.
It's a
As
battle
black
of
men, we
tug
will
of
win that war. Yeah,
It's a battle of tug
attrition.
of war.
It's a battle of attrition.
A battle of
You think so?
attrition, absolutely. I would say that much, because I think it's more harder for someone to keep on top of their child, like, you know, say a father or mother. I feel like it's harder for them to keep on top of their child while keeping on top of the bills, while keeping on top of themselves and what they're doing in their own life, and doing all of that, there's gonna be points where you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, and certain parents can do it. I'm not saying that they cannot do it, but definitely the government's a system. So you're versing a system as an individual,
And that's why I usually say resist government tyranny, because this is, to your point, this is what I am doing. I have the experience and I have the knowledge to try to avoid these things. And they say Rome wasn't built in a day. So that's number one. Number two, you're supposed to try, especially if it's for your seed, you're supposed to try. So I do not discount what you guys are saying when it comes to the, trust me, I know the uphill battle of government involvement and intrusion. The word is intrusion, and I don't treat it lightly. So I do recognize that what you guys are saying in terms of the cultural influences that come from the government.
Yes,
but
sir.
as we got to ask ourselves, and this is the thing that whenever I'm talking, like, let's say women, you find whether on most social media sites or even like dating sites or even in person.
Yeah.
There was like one chick the other day, just yesterday. I asked my bro just yesterday. This chick, her name is Donna. So Donna, if you're hearing, fuck you, Donna. But anyway,
shout out Donna.
Call him
only
out.
because of the foolishness she says. She's 34 and she's a black woman, and I was saying, and it's not because I'm attacking black women for those black women that be listening. I'm just making it known what she is, just to give you context. But a woman like that, she matched with me and we were having a discussion. I was basically trying to have her recognize I'm a serious type of man. If you want to play, there's a lot of women that want to have fun and do all these type of things. You want to do that? I am not the type of person to do that with, because I have goals. I want to put my funds, my resources, my money towards building families. That's the only way we are going to combat this circumstance when it comes to blackness.
Yeah, but I got a question for you. What's the point of traveling if you're not going to embrace the culture?
What culture am I
food,
embracing?
The women.
Is the food
the
culture?
traditions.
Is the food culture?
The women are.
Is the food culture? You said the food. Is the food culture?
The food is cultural. You're
Okay,
going
so
and
I can
eating
eat the
cultural
food. There's nothing wrong with eating the food.
Yeah, we're not eating gal, but I understand.
Yes, I know.
You're
but-
going. What's the point of going to Turkey if you're not going to embrace the nightlife, the food, the women? That's how you get a
Don't you think this is a
understanding of how
problem?
a place is.
Why?
That is
Okay,
true.
so you guys go to
Because you do experience the things that place
Women will
offers.
probably show you
Women are
the
part
to do
of
what
that.
then?
Yeah.
To do what? So in the case of, I'm not against that, but when my retort to you is now, you've gone to these places, you've embraced the culture, and what has that done for you as a black man?
Been great at giving me perspective.
To do what with? You had
How the world works.
okay.
About
How does the
women
world work?
see me. It's slimy, brother. It's slimy. Depends on your circumstances, what you have to do to get up. Sometimes you have to compensate your soul.
So what do you do with that now that you've gone to Belarus, for instance, and you've learned the culture there? Did you get a tidbit? Did you get a tool that brought you back here to Canada? It's like, now I do this because Belarus taught me this. When it comes to dealing with this, when I'm on the Highway 401, I use this Belarus idea to kind of mold what I got going on the 401 or wherever have you. How do you?
Sometimes you remember something when you were in the hood in Cuba getting some weed or something,
Yeah,
You're
that's,
like, I have to remember certain things
Not
that I have to transfer to this next world that I
No,
live in.
I'll answer that. I think that it's not tangible what you may get from these places. It's not
Definitely
something
intangible.
that you can recall and be like, damn, when I went to Cuba, this is what I gained from it. Or when I went here, no, because the whole experience was different to you. From start to finish, you never seen this in your life. From the ground to the animals to the water to the drinks you're getting to the
Even
language,
the theft.
the crime,
Crime,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's crimes in these places.
Like
that you
in terms of
experience.
The way you
awareness.
said it's like even the theft. I'm
in
like,
terms of awareness.
No, but listen, he's
Yeah,
right about
in
that.
terms of
'cause,
awareness.
like I said, I went to Colombia not too long ago, and I got my phone robbed.
Yeah.
You get what I
That's
mean? I got it
crazy.
robbed out there. But again, what was that due to? Like, I wouldn't
Hold
have
on,
that
you got your phone
mentality-
robbed or like it was stolen?
Stolen. And
Okay.
Stolen. I was saying stolen.
Okay.
Robbed, which sounds like more
Like someone
stuck.
came to you.
no,
Yeah,
Okay.
someone
stolen,
came and
yeah.
approached me. Stolen. Basically grabbed from a motorcyclist. He was on a bike. Dude came flying. I'm recording like a tourist.
I just took it from your hand.
This dude snatched that like a
But why-
motherfucker.
okay,
man.
but now let's ask, how did that happen?
So
Because
how
of
did
lack
that
of
happen?
awareness
Lack
in
of
Toronto.
awareness,
Toronto, that doesn't happen in Toronto.
That doesn't happen
No,
in
it
Toronto.
doesn't.
You
It
can't
doesn't.
expect that in Toronto.
That
Someone
does
on a
not
bike,
happen.
someone on a bike taking your phone. This is what I'm saying. So that type of awareness now when I travel to other
You
places.
guys didn't expect that here in Toronto?
I would
Definitely
never.
not. I don't walk
definitely
around
not.
my phone on a swivel.
I'm never worried about a
I'm
motorcyclist
never
coming
worried
by.
about that. Never.
Taking
My
my
wife-
phone.
motorcycle.
And you-
I'm never
anytime-
thinking about a phone.
Yeah, that's
Never.
what I'm saying. I would never think of some motorcycle.
It's not a common thing that happens here. It's a different type of crime. Point of what we're saying. And at the end of the day, my head wasn't on. I should have had my head on the swivel when I was out there.
And I warned him. I warned him ahead of time.
He warned me about the guys on the bikes because he experienced that. See what I'm saying? When he went to, where'd you go?
Vietnam.
So wait, so you guys are saying when I go to Colombia, if I go to Colombia, I should go to Colombia, and my life lessons would be, in the case of this motorcycle.
That's just one incident.
Yeah, I know. So, what, but okay, I guess
what I'm trying to say
Work on your
is-
grip strength.
This is what I'm trying to say. Okay, put it this way. Look, Jari,
That's
when
funny.
you should know, especially as an educator.
Talk to me.
When you read a book, right? You read a novel, and say the novel's a non-fiction or a fictional novel, for example. What do you gain from that novel if it's not based on reality? Like, what is there to be gained by reading words that are new or whatever? What's there to be gained in the book itself if it's a fictional book, doesn't have nothing to do based on real life? How are you going to apply it to your life? Why
Are you
would
asking me that?
Yeah, why
that's
would you suggest for a child to read a book that's a fictional book opposed to a book that's based on reality, for example?
well, I mean, okay. The
What's
way-
there to be gained in that sense?
And that's the thing. This is the exact same thing I was saying to a friend of mine just 2 days ago, where it's like, what's there to be gained is understanding of how to apply truth that's in fiction in real life. That's what's there to be gained. So when you're using the example of, like, getting the phone taken from in Colombia, it's like, what did you learn from that? You're saying that you learned to be more vigilant of circumstances, especially foreign circumstances. It might be something you've
Yep.
learned, correct?
100%.
So if I've already learned that, me going to Colombia, that information there is not going to be exactly useful to me. So I'm open-minded. I don't want to sound like I'm not open-minded. I'm open-minded to go into these places to learn things that I don't already know here, that I probably have already learned from, if you want to use the term, fictional books or practical understanding or even military, whatever the case may be, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not against going to different parts of the world. I'm always trying to say, now that I've gone there, I just don't want to say, oh, wow, that margarita, that drink, that woman's pussy was good. Like, I need something, seriously, right? I imagine it's good. I imagine it's good. And there are men that,
but that's
yeah.
the basic
No.
level of
No,
travel.
but
that you're
also that's
thinking,
determinant on you and
That-
what you're
yeah,
going there
that's
for.
truth.
Because the thing is, everybody has their own reasons for why they're going to different
That's what I'm
countries. Some people are there just to sleep with women. Some guys are there just to go gamble at the best casinos.
Yeah.
Some people are there to eat the best foods because they're foodies.
Yeah,
There you go.
festivals.
Some people are
like
there
all
for
type of
festivals.
things.
Some people are there to go worship their God, So it depends on what you're going there for. Some want to go and see the landscape.
This is why I was saying earlier on, I think off camera, this is why I'm against this idea of passport, bro, where men are starting to act, in my view, are starting to move too feminine to go to these places, foreign lands, to experience artwork, to experience new foods, to experience.
That makes you feminine?
To me,
Or
it
does
does.
that
if-
make you a little more sophisticated in the sense
But
that
that sophistication is to
you're
do-
a higher consciousness?
To me, I would say, what's that sophistication? What is that sophistication doing if it's not yielding any practical results back home, where you come back home in terms of now it's helped you with your job? Did eating that great food while you're on the cruise and you spent $1,000 there on the cruise to eat great food? I imagine the food is great. That's why you're on the cruise. But you did that so that it can somehow help you do what when it comes to building legitimacies and actual things in the country that you're still staying in? Like, to me, I don't like people who I don't like the idea of men wasting money for the idea of, like, watching a movie in a different country or seeing a zebra in a different kind of place just so that you can say you saw it. At the end of the day, men who are complaining in the regular world about how the system is extracting from them, it's killing them. It's like, if you're going out to go experience the world to try to help you detoxify some of the things that you've been mired in, I understand that, and I encourage every man to do that. But if you're starting to go like some of these whores will be going all the time, how many times do you speak to chicks that'll be telling you, oh, I went to this, I went to that, and you come back, you're just like, okay, so what the fuck you went, like, why did you do that? What was the goal of doing it? Just so you can tell us that you went there so you can level up and say that, I'm above you because I've tried these different countries, I've tried, like, how is that useful when it comes to child rearing and the
my
things that
thing
really
is,
matter?
So what I want to say to that is, so you mean to tell me everything that you do in your life is practical?
I'm not even trying to say it like that. What I'm saying is I'm at a stage in my life when I was younger, it was less practical. I'm at a stage in my life in my 30s where I want proper sound legacies. I'm tired of watching the Mark Cubans. As a black man, as a person of my stature and who I am and how I see, I'm tired of watching the Mark Cubans or you name it, the Jeff Bezos or the Elon Musk. These are not my gods. When I see that they're succeeding and they're billionaires, I don't look at them like, oh wow, I can never attain.
Yeah.
I actually kick back and I say to myself, a lot of the reasons why they are where they're at is because they had a structural unit aside with them. And I look at my black men sometimes and I'm disappointed. Some of this is coming from frustration and disappointment, saying we can be building this same thing. And while I'm busy building this, some of my niggas are going out there doing this. Some niggas are fucking bitches in China. Okay, granted, you can do that. I'm not going to control any man. I just feel a little disdain for the sake that we can be building what these Elon Musk, because a lot of times you have these males that be saying, oh, look what he did. And in my mind, I can do it. I just need the right structure. And I like to have that right structure with my people. And oftentimes my people like the fads and the entertainment elements of things. And I'm usually just left aside, just looking like, in fact, I was saying to my brother, you can witness to that I got into a place of frustration with black women because of these sorts of things, and it's hashtag not all black women. I'm talking about the cultural Canadian or American black women who carry themselves with whatever sitcom and nasty TV show, who's breeding who and all these type of things. I'm so tired of that I was saying
A lot of crazy shows,
right?
man.
I was saying
A lot of crazy
that
shows.
if that, I think you were talking about that Asian woman that's more submissive, if that is going to assist with what I'm building in terms of legacy, I might need to coalesce with that because I don't want that Asian woman to be showing me her counterpart or her version of love and hip hop.
That's what I'm talking about. Where
Yes, of
you're
course.
getting
That
a
doesn't make
different.
sense.
That's what I'm saying. When you get a different characteristic type, where it's like, oh wow, I didn't know this was out there, and then you're like, because you, as I said, you compare and contrast, and you're just like, wait, this is like a worse version than what I'm seeing right here. So
Yeah,
I'm
so,
just
the
so it's like
comparisons, unfortunately.
by default, now I'm going to another ethnicity because she's showing traits that are more favorable for me instead of me going just because this woman is black. I'm going to go on this
Yes,
side.
exactly. And remember that because she's so what I would do if I went with that Asian woman metaphorically in this circumstance, I would extract the resources that she's able to either give or teach from being around her culture and bring it to a black woman that wouldn't have the Canadian or the Americanized nonsense that I don't like.
So
I would. That's why I said I'll go to Africa.
Okay, so you true,
Right,
'cause
I'll
you
go-
can
That's
find
true.
right,
You can
exactly.
find something
That
And
makes
then
sense, yeah.
the one
that
that's
still those things.
Yeah,
Exactly, and then put that in-
you would find that, you could find that out there.
exactly,
True.
and then put that information I learned from being around the Cambodian chick or the Asian
True,
chick,
true.
and then throw it into what I got to build. Because in the end, I'm kind of like building a bear or building a
you're
Frankenstein's
molding,
monster,
yeah.
where it's like I want all the stuff I learned from these races to come from to go into a black vessel. I want my children to be black and stay black.
What about
Right.
for fun, man? We're not
He
talking
keeps
about
talking
for
about-
this. We want to know on a crazy night what
That's
you
you.
see in the club that you're taking back.
You don't think you're gonna get tired of that one time? You're gonna look back and you're gonna say you've been doing too much of that. You don't think so?
I used to think so, but I think that's not happening no more.
So now
I used to think you could hit a number and you'll feel like, okay, I'm done. I could be a good black man now. There's no number. You just can't sleep at night.
You're right. There's
You
no
like
number.
something new.
So
you
you're just
can't
a
get
whore.
over it.
You're just a whore. That's all. That's all.
You can't get
There's no
over it.
I
numbers.
think this is the big thing. I think this is the big thing
How
that
do you get
we're
over that?
missing. See, like with lifestyle, that's different for every single person, right? So some people's lifestyle, they like extravagant shit. They like to eat at the best restaurant. They like to sleep with the best of women, be at the best of hotels, have the best of shoes, whatever the case may be. And they might not even have the means to get these things, but they'll find out a way. Actually, a lot of people that have been successful have done this, actually fake it till you make it kind of style. We hear this all the time, but most people, they have to visualize it before it happens anyway. So even with the extravagant lifestyle, sometimes something seems meaningless, right? Sometimes like, why would you get that? Why would you get that car? Are you a baller? Are you making that type of money? Well, maybe there's a greater plan to that, right? And to your eyes, you can be like, oh, this guy just likes to party. He just likes to look cool. He just likes to get bitches again, because perception is everything, right? So we're gonna put that on him. Oh yeah, you must be getting bitch. If he has that Benz and if he has that Gucci and he has that, Rollie on, that's your perception. That I'm thinking
status.
You're doing things in order to attract,
and that can either be good or bad, and that's why I'm saying black people face an identity crisis, just like T.I.'s son. That's what's happening in that circumstance, right? You saw, right?
We can talk
Look
about
what's
that
happening
too.
to him. What's
talk
happening
about
to
that.
him is he's trying to emulate the foolishness that's been infused into his father, right?
Yes,
that his
sir.
father has monetized off of, and maybe now with that monetization, he's been able to trade his money for resources, and that resource is knowledge to avoid the hood and the foolishness he's coming from. That he's trying to, it seems like he says he is, but when I watched the video you sent me, the nigga's being stupid too.
Yeah,
right. So the apple don't fall far from the tree.
You're saying
right?
T.I.,
I'm saying T.I. is a fool. This
how
is
he's acting on the video.
Because he's acting like a child himself.
But
So
I
hold
would
on,
say
hold on.
T.I.'s always been this fool too. If you're paying attention to how
if
he
you're paying
moves,
attention,
What
he's
is
a fool.
foolery?
But listen, let's talk about the video. Let's talk
What
about the
is
video we're
foolery?
talking about, because not everyone knows what we're talking about. But there's a video that just dropped recently. It's going viral where T.I. had altercation. T.I. and his, I guess, wife Tiny, they had altercation with their son, and their son is, and I'm not too sure how old he is. Probably in his like early 20s, but. Regardless,
He's a rapper, no?
Yeah, he's like a rapper, musician.
the one that was in the video, that's a 20-year-old.
It might be. He's
He looks like he's like 15 to 18.
No, he looks like, I think he's past that age. I
That's
think
crazy.
He's
See,
of
another
age. He's an
identity
adult,
issue.
bro. I don't think that guy's a teenager.
That's an adult.
Because I
No,
don't
I
think
didn't know that.
I don't
thought he
think
was
they would have made a
17.
big deal if he was
I
a
thought he was
teenager. If he's a
17.
teenager, he's a kid. Then
Yeah,
it'd even look worse on T.I. if
Yeah.
that's
That's
the
what I'm
case.
saying.
Yeah.
So if he's an adult, then at least you're like, okay,
he
the
probably
adult,
19, 20.
yeah, maybe 19, something young. But point
Does
of
it
the
look
matter,
bad for T.I.?
yeah,
Yes, it
but
does.
let's just talk about the video in terms of him. So, point of the matter was that his son got into argument with his father, basically claiming that he actually was in the streets as well. Like T.I. is known to be a street guy, known to have been a street guy. He's been to jail. He's done his goofy stuff as well, because he also condones snitching and things of that nature. But anyways, he passed that life, like you said. He passed up his career, and he used the resources to make sure his kids are not in the same environment. But his son is still around, probably people that are cool with T.I., that are cool with what's going on in terms of the street life. So with that being said, and T.I. basically saying that his son is not from that type of cloth, what do you guys think in terms of kids believing that there's something that they're not, or maybe they are that and you just don't know about it? Because how do you know if someone's about that life? Like, what tells you that someone's a street guy or not a street guy? Is it riches? Is it money? Because last time I checked, you can have money and still be doing the same shit or worse than street guys are doing. What's the difference between a regular person and a street guy?
It's
like,
principle.
you have to be principles?
It's principle. This is one of the reasons why I would even, push back on the world that might say T.I. is a street guy. To me, T.I. is not a street guy. There's a difference. There's a difference between someone from the streets. There's a difference between someone from the hood. There's a difference between someone from the ghetto and someone from the blackness, the projects. So I would say someone like T.I., from understanding some of his music or hearing some of his music, which some production I did like, and things from DJ Toomp and all these types of people, I like the beats. But when I listen, he's actually one of the reasons. He's like another Steve Harvey that was saying it ain't tricking if you got it. And it's like, yes, it is tricking. So someone that says that, how can you be from the streets if you're saying there's a difference in tricking, right? Because anybody from the streets will know this, that, and the third. You just even said earlier on in terms of snitching and this, that, condoning that.
Condoning
How can you
snitching,
be from the streets if you're agreeing that it's okay at certain times?
That's what
now
I said,
it can
he's done
also
rap music.
it can also be that he might be from the streets and the highness of life has gotten to his mind, so he's no longer representing the streets he was from, but he's just high off of life saying stupid things like that, even with the street potency though. So that's why sometimes when he says something that's that you can't isolate, because I can isolate when street people say street things. If you say
But
that,
people would say some of his actions would people would vouch and say T.I. is a street guy.
How?
Like, as much as you can say
because he
he's
got
not-
caught with all the
because
guns.
he got caught.
so because you get
You
caught
with a
with
bunch of
because you
guns, you
get
get
caught
street
with
cred.
guns.
But T.I.'s been put in.
That's dumb.
What I'm trying to say is, how are you going to separate then a street guy? Like, what's the
You
difference
can't.
between
You
a street
I
guy?
think what happens is people think that as a street guy, there's a street code to follow.
There is.
No, there isn't.
There's-
Yes,
Right
there
now, the
is.
street is-
There
Yes, there is.
You're, no,
People
no.
say
You're
this, but,
supposed to
some people say the
survive.
streets is a
If-
myth.
Yeah,
It's
if
a
you're,
myth.
it's just like if you're in war, right, and you're trying to take over a country, you're not gonna sit there. People are gonna say, "Oh, there's supposed to be like a certain type of etiquette. You can't kill civilians. You can't do certain things." Listen, I'm trying to win a war. I'm not worried about killing civilians. I'm doing whatever it takes to
Yeah,
win.
because the
for a
street code would be not to kill civilians, but some guys don't follow that.
Yeah,
of guys
they'll
don't
kill
follow that.
people in broad
They'll
daylight.
kill kids and women. They don't care.
Whatever. If they have
That
a
doesn't
chance
make
to
that
catch,
action doesn't make them a street guy though. This is the thing, that there's nuances, and that's why usually I try to usually stay off of the street discussions. But this is a good discussion. You guys are bringing up a very good point. You can be from the streets and do things that are not street backed, right? So oftentimes people who are from the street, like case in point, you can be a Christian and every single day you're doing things that are not Christian backed. Your God isn't signing off on that. But you might be telling everybody, I'm a Christian. This is what the Christians do. So then people are looking at that saying, this is what your Jesus, that's what they're telling you to do. And then later on, they're running back in this broken telephone of discussion and discourse saying, I guess Jesus is okay with aborting your kids. And so now people would be shocked after 20 years of doing a lifestyle of aborting kids, let's say, and they'll be like, yo, Jesus will still forgive me. How? When Jesus Christ himself said, suffer the children not to come to me. He almost wanted to kill St. Peter for stopping kids from coming to him. So why the hell would he stop an innocent kid from even being born? So people that don't know the nuances of things of that nature will start moving with the broken telephone with things.
But
so that's what's
how
happening with the streets.
That's how it is
Oh,
with
back
the
to the
streets,
question.
though.
Back to the question. I mean,
Okay.
it's easy. All promotion is good promotion, bro.
No,
What is he doing?
stop this
What is he
nonsense.
doing right now?
What
What is King doing right now? They have projects to drop.
they
They
drop
need clout.
So
projects,
then-
that's fast
They
for
have
him.
to
So
do
then is that
something.
what street niggas do? Is that what street niggas
This
do
is
for the
rap.
sake of
This is rap.
But he's
But that's
he's
what
not
talking
he's
about
trying to
music.
argue.
These rappers
So
are
he's
not
trying to argue
street
that-
niggas.
Yeah, but he's
He's
trying to
not a
argue
street.
T.I. is not that.
He's not
That's
street.
What,
That's
so
what
you're
he's
oh,
arguing.
so you're saying he's not
You're
street?
agreeing.
You're
You're
agreeing
agreeing.
to
He's
that.
an
He's
artist
point.
now.
No,
Yeah,
but
so-
You can't be moving heavy and then being an artist.
Yeah.
You have to figure
We're
out
not
one.
saying he's a street guy at this point. We never.
Yeah, no, he
we
can't
never,
be a
we
This is
never
good
said-
promotion.
I'm
His
saying-
kid gets at him.
I'm going off where he
using it.
came up.
So
came up out of.
he's capitalizing off his streetness. So his street cred that he got back in the day, he's now capitalizing off it, and he's monetizing it in his raps
In
and
his
doing
rap
stuff
as
like
an
that.
artist, yeah.
All
So
the other
then-
stuff he's
so-
gonna send his other minions to do that.
So
He's
then,
not gonna do it.
So then T.I. is an expedient male, right? And so I would say to that circumstance, if you're an expedient male, don't be surprised if your son is emulating expedient behavior. He now wants to use the
100%,
street code. He wants to use
100%,
the street code now, or
Yeah.
the street life,
Yeah.
to try to launch himself wherever he thinks he's launching himself.
He has
so that's
to.
when the father's now chastising him publicly, he's kind of looking at his father like, stop. He can't even understand. He's feeling like, yo, father, stop doing this to me when you did this.
Yeah,
If in a
yeah,
sense,
yeah.
I'm learning this off of you.
Yeah.
He has no choice. His
yeah.
dad got caught with guns. What do you got to do? You have to do something.
So there you
They're
go.
gonna say
So
Well,
you're
I
a
guess
punk.
there you have it. That's what
You
he's trying to say. He's just saying
Easy-
that, like,
easy as
you reap
that.
what you sow. The apple doesn't fall far
Exactly,
from the tree.
exactly.
So he can't really cry foul for his son acting out
That's what I'm
on
saying.
being what he's
Taught his
emulated
son.
and what he's made money off of.
You taught your
for
son
all
this.
these.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's whether he taught him directly or indirectly, it's
Even
been
both.
taught, because even with people he's probably around with, part of this guy's entourage, there's obviously other people that have been to jail. There's obviously family members and shit of that nature that are being discounted that we don't hear about. But in terms of fathering with the kid itself, because obviously
I would say-
people looked at it. I think he threw the kid in a headlock or some
yeah, I
shit.
saw, it was the video was
what
so
happened.
weird. There's so many different things
I
happening.
There's a
in
lot
that
of
video.
crazy
Yeah.
angles,
That
but,
part I didn't
but
see.
in
That
terms
was
of that,
weird.
like, say you had a grown kid and he was acting out, because I heard this topic brought up too, but say you had a kid that was of age, adult, and he's acting up in public, maybe disrespecting you, maybe cursing you, whatever the case may be. He's a full-grown adult. is that the time it's right to put hands on your kid at that point?
You feel it as a father
When
at
do
that
you
point.
feel like, because my whole thing is obviously when a kid's a kid, you know, they don't have the ability to defend themselves, nor do they understand that difference of strength. But when you're adult, you should know, you know, left from right. You should know who to talk to, how to talk to, because there's bullies in schools. There's people that you couldn't talk to however you wanted to. So then when it comes to your father, your pops, and you start, you know, cursing, saying shit, threatening to fight even, how does a father deal with that? For me, like, I think about a kid doing that, like, I'll be straight up. I'll knock that kid out. If he's an adult and he thinks he can face a man and he wants to be a man.
Why would he think that, though? You would have taught him wrong then.
Well, I can only teach so much, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take responsibility for everything. No. I'm
No,
not
you
doing
as a
that.
father,
I'll take of course,
That's your child.
It's going to be bestowed upon me, but I'm not going to sit there and say that everything this child has learned is a result of my training. I'm definitely not going to say
So
that.
when I look at the T.I. circumstance, I hear that perspective. When I look at the T.I. circumstance and T.I. what he's doing, I watch a little bit more. You sent me that link and I start to look into the thing more. How do I like? Of course, the listeners that are hearing this, there's no way you guys can mistake the fact that I don't appreciate this T.I. family. This whole thing is just nonsense to me. When I look at that, what I see is T.I. playing around with his life. He's a clown. His woman responded to said clown behavior. It's rubbed off in terms of generational curses to his children. So don't try to tell me that you're doing, hey, you know, I had to put my son in a headlock. If you don't even already set the tone from when that child was at the age of listening,
course.
you've already failed. So anybody that's trying to tell me it's like, he had to. He didn't have to do that.
He had to.
No, he did not.
All that boy's son is trying to do is fuck Lori Harvey. Let's be honest. He's trying to get enough clout so that Lori Harvey will see him. I mean, everybody wants to get on Lori Harvey.
Is this something you know about the circumstance? Is this a thing?
He has to prove he's a man now so he can fuck all the gal he want to fuck. He's a coming up
Are you
rapper.
proud of? You saw the video?
I saw the video.
Are you proud of that?
What else is he going to do?
Are you proud of that?
He's going to be in T.I. shadow forever.
Are you proud of that? As a father, would you be proud of that?
That's not my son.
As a father, would you be proud of that?
Would I be proud of that? No.
Oh, thank you for being honest. So anybody that's a real father out there, you're not seeing that and you're proud of that. You're seeing that, especially if you're from a certain walk of life as a black man, you're seeing that and you're looking back to the father saying, you didn't raise that right. So when I see behavior like that, I look at that saying, T.I., you're a clown for even allowing this to be a thing.
What do the women like? Why do you think he's doing that?
Don't do that now. Don't do that and say it's because the women like it. Because if that's how you're moving, then you're now a bitch nigga, even on top of that.
What do they
because
like,
you're
9 to
moving
5
like
or
that
do they
only
like street
because
niggas?
Oh, that's not a street nigga.
Yeah, but I know I understand what you're saying though, because at the end of the day, it's true, bro. The perception.
What do they
again,
like?
Back to perception. No, real talk. Back to perception.
Also want to
That's
mention
crazy.
we do have 10 minutes left, so
Yeah.
just make sure you guys
But back
get what
to,
you can get in.
back to perception. At the end of the day, when it comes to, you know, women, and we always talk about women and what guys have to do in terms of improving themselves, doing X, Y, and Z. But
Yeah.
the one part we don't talk about is the guys that aren't improving necessarily. But those are the guys still picking up the women. And you always ask yourself, wait, this doesn't make fucking logical sense. Like, I'm doing the shit. I'm working a 9 to 5. I have my job steady. And this guy that's on the block with what? Smoking weed, doing this.
Yeah,
drinking.
it looks crazy.
He's the one
On
getting
probation, no
he's
job,
the one getting
nigga.
the top
Getting
girl in the
hoes.
area.
Yeah.
Like what's
Getting the
happening?
top hoes.
So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, there's I guess there's glory and that's why it's being glorified, right?
then that's-
so there's glory in it. So people there's winning in that. The kid is
No,
he's
there's
right. The kid can
there's
win.
perceived winning. So that's the thing
There's
that
winnings in it, bro.
there's
We gotta
perceived
keep
winning.
it
No,
real.
what I'm no, I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
actually,
I'm keeping it. I'm
absolutely.
keeping it
You
real.
can say perceived.
The
You
reason
can
why
say
the reason why I'm
perceived.
No,
saying
I get it, I
yeah,
get it.
because what's happening with this fad and this entertainment, no one's seeing what comes with all of that.
Yeah,
So,
facts.
so they don't see that, that's a gimmick that looked like it was winning until
Yeah.
the woman went in the bedroom and be like, this is a bitch nigga too.
Yeah.
You see
Well,
what I'm
definitely-
saying?
definitely
Well, now,
fooling
once
the
you get
women.
in the bedroom, you're done.
You're done, yeah.
You've
That's the
accomplished your
winning.
goal. The war is over.
Yeah, that's
No,
what I'm gonna
yeah.
say. The
No.
winnings is that for that guy.
For that
type of guy.
for that kind of mind.
But
Yeah,
again,
So
yeah,
that's
for
not
that.
a
that's
win.
not a win.
That's
Like
not
you
a
said,
win.
That's not
Yeah.
a win.
That's a
but
win
that's
in
what
his
they
eyes.
perceive as a win.
In his eyes, that's a win.
And-
And for people that look up to him, that's a win.
And so what's going to happen is life's going to hit you when you think those are wins.
Of course,
you're going to
of
be
course.
taking losses.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about that? Because
Talk to me.
I still even believe that even with those guys, it's say for example, like we said, it's a perceived win, but I still think people that are winning still are jealous of certain men, even though sometimes they look at it like, yeah, I'm way better than him, I do more. There's still a inkling of I can never be him. I can never be him to her. It sounds
That's
funny,
a fact.
bro.
That, what you
Listen,
said right there,
funny,
I'm
bro.
not.
I
I'm
can
not
never
laughing.
be
I'm
him
not
to
laughing.
her.
I'm not
That's a
laughing
fact.
because
It's a fact.
I'm not
I
laughing
can
because
never
I
be him to
disagree.
her.
I'm not laughing because
I
I
can never
disagree.
be
I'm
him
only
to
laughing
her.
because it's so.
It's
It's
a
like the grass
goofy-
is greener on the other
Yeah,
side, and only goofy niggas do that
Absolutely.
nonsense.
Like I said,
right?
it's not something that's based in logic.
That's
That's
what-
what we're saying in terms of attraction. It's nothing to do based
I
in
don't-
logic.
I wouldn't
But
say
at
that
the end
far,
of the day, at the end of the day, there is the idea that still guys will see those guys that aren't as successful as them, but they're like, how did they make the difference without having that success? That's where they could never get. I needed success to have these opportunities. That guy didn't need success to have those opportunities.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But you see what? But
I
put it in
I
this-
see
put
what
it in
you're
this way of
saying.
success.
I see what
Put it
you're
in this way
saying.
of success, because we'll have to measure it off women we get. Say for example, right?
Status, straight up.
Status. No. Seriously.
listening.
Certain caliber of women, you know you need certain status to deal with them, right? Some guys don't have that status, still dealing with
What's
them.
the status?
Well, the status of money, social
perfect.
social
So-
status,
Economic
Perfect.
status.
economic and stuff like
Perfect.
To
that.
deal with what caliber of women? That's why I don't like
Well,
having
we're-
like abstract
Yeah,
discussion.
of
I need
course.
to know which woman is the caliber woman we're referencing here.
I
Is
have a
it-
question for you. I have a question.
Okay,
To
go-
get a
go.
woman you want, what do you think is most important?
It
Money, looks, clout, or influence
I would say masculine influence. Now I
in
have.
today's world?
It's in any world.
it's
It's masculine. It's masculine influence in any world. What you mean in today's world?
Feminine energy.
What do you like? What I'm saying here is that from the way that's why the way you even pose that question is I want different sorts of women for different sorts of things in the first place. So when you said like to get the sort of woman I want, it's like, well, it depends on what day and what sort of woman I'm trying to want. If I want a woman to be a proper child from my family structure, a woman that's not going to snake my family structure.
Yeah, you like to build.
That's going to
So I'm
have
talking
to
a woman to build. What do you think will be more helpful to
my
her
influence,
as
my
you find
masculine
her
influence,
now?
my black masculine influence.
So you think if you're missing the other three, you'll be okay?
If I didn't say that. My black masculine influence will be able to generate funds. My black masculine influence will be able to generate. I mean, look how I think I'm a handsome nigga. So thanks to my black masculine influence,
Black masculine influence
That's-
cannot
that's
generate
the
looks.
genetics.
Yeah,
which
cannot
which
generate looks.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true. That
which
cannot
is
generate money.
which is a black masculine thing. Because if my father wanted
Okay, you can say that.
if my
You can
father
say that.
wanted
You
to
can say
skip
that.
rope,
You
you know
can
what I'm
say
saying,
that.
and then have a child with
have a
some
child, you wouldn't be the
type
same
of chick
sex.
from
Yeah,
some type of chick
you're
from some
right.
different
Yeah,
place.
genetics will
I
be-
wouldn't have this going
Yeah,
on
but
right
you're
now,
from a
right?
different stock. You have to understand that.
And that stock is maintained thanks to the black people maintaining
Yeah,
it.
well,
That's right.
he made a
good
conscious
point.
he made a conscious decision on who he was going to breed with in order
Exactly.
to create this type of human
Exactly.
being.
Human
Exactly.
So that's how he came to
Exactly.
be, right?
And that's why
Facts.
we respect our ancestors. Because those who are going out, who are forgetting that,
Yeah.
might have a tendency to, kind of
course.
mess up the good thing that's been going for some time.
I
So-
think women in today's
So I
world will
just want
skip that.
So I just want to like conclude this, and I want everyone to
100%,
say their
100%.
final statements or whatever advice they want to give to the audience. Or
Still want to be a street guy? Who wants to be a street guy? Who's winning? Like, I don't know
who's
winning.
really winning out here?
I need to know who's winning out
And
here.
mine are
man.
winning, bro. Bullet wounds get you more money,
Money,
than benefits, brother.
Drug dealing, street shit. I
benefits
don't
is
know.
not doing it
How's
for
the
the gal,
benefits looking over there?
Benefits ain't helping, man.
Like I said, I could get a massage or I could get a Birkin.
Yeah,
That's
we're going for the
crazy.
break-in, and that's
Every
I mean, that's
time.
what we got today. Today's a good topic, man.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Hilarious
This is
topic, bro.
hilarious.
Sometimes we don't have enough time, but we'll come back to these type of
100%.
topics.
And I
The
think-
podcast ongoing. We always got good people coming on the show. Respect for my dog coming on the show. You
Yes,
already know.
sir. Yes, sir.
You already know, dog. You already know. Respect for coming through, Jariah. You already know.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
We are out, baby.
The way you make me feel, I'm just trying to get my eyes.